We call this segment Capitol Spotlight. We essentially put the spotlight on a member of the House of Representatives and talk to them briefly about a couple of things they've been working on. Today we're coming to you from the East Gallery of the Rhode Island House of Representatives with our good friend, the Honorable State Representative Scott Slater. Representative, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me.
Well, and I guess we should start out with a hearty congratulations, because the medical marijuana legislation that you've worked so hard on and the compassion centers that will be formulated here in the state of Rhode Island passed the House this past week, and that has to make you feel pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. This is a long time coming. It was a culmination of a lot of work, not only by myself, but my father before me, who put so much effort into this and into the legislation. And at one point, you know, the compassion centers were supposed to go forward. The federal government and Governor Chafee had expressed some concerns about federal intervention. So we revisited the issue, modified the law, and I think made the law a little better.
Well, you know, tell our viewers in just general terms, what will the legislation do? How will it work?
Well, the legislation now will limit the amount of plants any compassion center can have on hand at any one time. The amount of medicine that they can have also on hand. It'll also set up a commission, an advisory oversight commission, with members of the legislature, Senate, and also state police will be on that oversight commission. It will require criminal background checks for everyone. It will also require any of the compassion centers to be at least 1,000 feet from any school. And it'll just put more oversight and stricter controls on the compassion centers.
You know, I've talked to you about this before, and I distinctly remember talking to your dad about it. 1988, my mother was diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, gosh, I don't know what's worse, the disease or the treatment. And some of the various side effects she had as a result of the treatment. And back in the late 80s, it was just starting to come out that the cannabis and that the marijuana could dull some of those side effects and make someone feel better. A lot more science and research has happened. Your dad, I believe, the last interview that he gave, because he fought for this right to the bitter end, because your dad, you and your family saw it up close and personal, even though he didn't take advantage of medical marijuana. You certainly saw what that disease can do to people and the kind of pain that they can go through.
Absolutely. And, you know, as you said, my father never got a chance to take advantage of medical marijuana. But there was many patients that he saw and many people on a regular basis that reached out to him, especially since 2006 when they made medical marijuana legal in the state for medicinal purposes. And then after that, the problem became obtaining the medicine safely. So that's where the compassion center legislation came about. And now, for the patient's safety and for their sake, I hope the compassion centers move along so that people can have a safe and consistent strain of medicine.
Now, when do you anticipate, like, having the compassion centers open and ready to do business?
I think relatively soon. I mean, I know a lot of the existing compassion centers that are approved by the health department are going to be the ones that are given licenses, and I know they've had plans to go forward and they already have their locations in place, so hopefully they can get up and running very soon.
Well, I'll tell you something, Representative. I know it means a lot to you. It certainly meant a lot to your father, and you know how much it meant to him.
Yes.
And to the thousands of people watching this right now who themselves deal with some sort of pain, some sort of physical problem that responds so well to this type of medical treatment, I know they're breathing a sigh of relief to finally see this happening. And again, I think it really points to your tenacity for seeing it through.
Oh, absolutely. And yesterday was my father's birthday, so I couldn't think of a better time for this to pass once again. So hopefully we move forward with this legislation. And this was my father's last legislative act, so it'll be great to see this come to fruition.
I know that Representative Tom Slater is smiling upon you right now. Representative, thank you. Congratulations. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much, Dave.
And of course, we couldn't do it without you folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're in the East Gallery of the Rhode Island State House for Capitol TV. I'm Dave Barber.